So, dudes and dudettes, welcome back. This is me, of course, Sugi here, and today we're gonna be looking into the brand new Reforged patch, all the new Night Elf units, buildings, and doodads. And I will be doing this inside the editor because there's so many videos that we'll be doing it in-game, and I did record already like a showcase inside the game, but I had some weird frame rate issues, so I'm gonna be doing it inside the editor. So let's get started with the units themselves. So starting with the main house or the building, Tree of Life, Tree of Eternity, and Tree of Ages. And this is extremely highly detailed, I have to say. It's a very, very nicely rounded model. I think ever since I saw the initial shots of it, I think it looked very, very impressive. Then we have a Night Elf Fishing Village. This was an old model. Then we have Horn of Cenarius. This is a very finely detailed model. Obviously, the standard animation can be seen here on the other screen, on the smaller screen, because in-game some effects don't show up. Like with the obelisk, we don't actually see the orb, but we can see it on the side window once again. I think this one is also very nice. It's a bit taller than the original one. Barrow Den, another campaign building, which was already inside the game. Then we have the ships, and the ships also look very, very nice. I think this is the smallest one. Then we have the transport ship. I really like the textures on this one as well. They always were my favorites in the beginning. And then we have the actual shipyard, which existed already. And we actually now have a waterfall model. This is a very, very nicely detailed model. I think it has actually a bit higher body count than the other one, obviously. So it gives a bit of a different type of a look and feel. And it can be edited in many ways. And something that I will, touch upon in a future video. Also, the fish have been added. I'm pretty sure they didn't exist in the previous patches. So that is very nice. There's a lot of detail to the fish, even though they're super small. And then we have actually new bridges, and these look very, very nice. So something that we touched upon on our first video, the levitation technique, and we can see kind of like the very foundations of the bridge, and then we can put it under the ground. I mean, this can be used on many, many different maps, and this is obviously from the World of Warcraft style in Ashen Vale. Then we have another one which is having a very similar style. Once again, this is a bit bigger one. Apparently I can't raise it. Okay, now I can. And here we have more of the waterfalls. You can actually create a river with these things, which are like just going on like a straight line. Something that I will show you in a future video once again. I do like the waterfall look. Make things look a bit different because it's a bit different still from the actual water itself. I think now that we are at it, so let's actually do a very, very quick test here. Sorry for derailing. Waterfall test, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if we can change actually the color of the waterfall. We can. So you want a bloody water, you want a blood coming out. That is a pretty nice thing. That looks really nice, by the way. So that is good that we can actually change the color to match up the colors of the water that is in the specific maps. But let's go back to the actual bridges. So here's another one. This one has a different variation, which is a lot bigger and which has a lot more of these poles. Very nice one once again. And they finally actually added textures to these natural bridges, which also look very nice. Here's another variation that has a bit more color into it. So this will be also very useful. And then there's a stone bridge as well, which is looking very, very nice. And there's also a blue fire that they added. I don't think, at least in the editor, it didn't show up. And sorry for derailing. Most people are probably for the units, so let's get back to the units. Sentry model already existed. We have the Night Elf Runner. Oops. So we have the Warden. Warden looks pretty nice. It has pretty nice animations now. It only had an attack animation before. So it's a very decent model. And here we have Naisha, which is one of the campaign units in the expansion TFT. This is the normal Huntress. The glaive model has been immensely increased on the missile. They look very huge, which is nice because you can use it in many different things, something that we're going to be touching in future videos. I don't really like the... there's something about that are kind of masculine about the body shapes, even though they have tits and everything, but it just seems to me that they lack the femininity of the originals. Maybe it's the lipstick being too different, or the facial features look too pale. It's not. I'm not feeling it. Also, the Sentry model, this was already in. I don't like these animations. I think they look kind of stiff right now. They have been a bit improved, I think. Actually in the panel they look quite nice. Here we have another one of the buildings. This is Age of Wonders, and I should probably show you the uprooted version because, well, let's look them all of them. So Ancient of the War looks amazing. As I said, like, all of them look very, very nice. Oh, God damn it, there's space. So this is the Ancient of Lore, also very nice, very faithful to the original. Ancient Protector, probably my favorite, all of them. This looks absolutely amazing. Very, very highly detailed. This looks like the Treebeard from Lord of the Rings. It can be used on Lord of the Rings maps, definitely. And the Age of Wonders, let's get this one out of the way. So this one looks like, I don't know, some type of a turtle that is... I mean, this could be reskinned to be a Blastoise or something like that. I mean, it's quite a wild design. It's drastically different from the original. I don't know why they did that. I didn't like the design's look of the original, by the way, so I guess that's a good thing. And here we have Druid of the Claw, bear form. And here's the Avatar of Vengeance and the Spirit of Vengeance, which is using the Sentry model. And they don't look that good. I'm not going to lie. They look too large, in my opinion, when we compare it to the Archer, which is kind of like, well, I mean, they are as tall, but maybe they standing too tall, I guess, is the way to... I mean, they still look quite large compared to the Archer, in my opinion. Maybe that's just me. And then we have the Mountain Giant. It looks pretty nice, very well detailed. Looks very World of Warcraft-like. The trends also look immensely detailed. The Fairy Dragons also quite nice. Keeper of the Grove. I think I like the manly and kind of like young look they have. Warden also looks very nice. And here's Priestess of the Moon. And the female Demon Hunter. Illidan has like 4 different models, by the way. Here's the Druid of the Claw in the normal form. Here's one of the Illidans. Here's another Illidan. I think there's a third one somewhere here. There's basically 5 of them, but 3 of them look very similar. So here is kind of like the demonic way that he looks in the World of Warcraft. And then you kind of have the Warcraft 3 version. And here we have the Glaive Thrower, looks also nice. Druid, I'm not very big fan of the big hair here. It just doesn't look very nice. Here is Maev, which is the campaign character. Obviously looks quite different from the Warden itself. So as we can see, the armor is a bit different. There's cape, and the weapon is also... Well, actually, it's the same weapon. A bit different, though. But I definitely prefer the Warden one here, but I think people will enjoy the differences and the new models. Then we have Malfurion, and there should be a mountless version, not available yet. And then we have, you know, the Druid of the Claw. No, Druid of the Talon. And this is Chimera. Let's put it here so we can look at it a bit better. One of the mostly appreciated models. A lot of people seem to love this one. Then we have... I think these are parrots with horns. I don't think they look that hippogrific to me. This is something that might get some adjustments. I mean, it does look like a goddamn parrot. And here is the mounted version, which also looks quite nice. Normal Huntress, we already looked. The Wisps looked very detailed to me, very nice. The detonation effect also is very... I really like the portrait of them. Doesn't look very cool, by the way. Can't show you in this game, but I don't like it. So I hopefully it actually has some smoke or something in the background. Altar looks really nice in game. The animations, the floating, I like this very much. It's such an improvement over the original. Here are some of the corrupted ones. These have been already in the game. Moonwell obviously looks quite bigger, but it's also very, very fine looking. And here we have some of the rooted buildings once again. This is the corrupted one, and there we already looked at these. Hunter's Hall looks very nice as well. And then we have another big doodad. So we have this is the world tree. So finally it got textures. It's pretty same scale as the original was. So I gotta say I do enjoy this one as well. But it can be obviously downsized quite a much. So it can be used as different things. I don't actually think we can see the very root of it. And then we had some new doodads also, which we kind of looked over the bridges. I think these Dalaran ruin things, these are new, based on my memory. The wall fountains still don't have the water texture, sadly. None of the fountains do. This is also a ruins fountain. I think this is from Sunken Temple. Doesn't either have any type of textures. It's just water, and these are the old water effects, by the way. Also, I think this was added. The ruins broken statue. I think this was added also in this patch. And this scenario statue, also very, very finely detailed and nice. These already existed before. As for the obelisks, I think these are new too. And this, we kind of touched about the blue fire a bit already. This was at least not showing on the campaign screens. I didn't know if they actually showed in-game. But these can be used in many, many things. The fire also looks good. And I also do want to suggest that this rock archway got its texture. I don't think it had a texture before. There's a lot of, assets in when we go to bridges and ramps. There's these lines of west string, and these are a lot of the things that we looked into earlier. These were added in this patch. Here's some waterfalls again, and some of the water things. The water is not moving, and I think this was also added. I could be wrong. And let's see one of the west strings. Like there's a one like this, which seems to have some type of plants on it. Doesn't have a texture yet, but this is gonna be looking very, very nice. I think there's a lot more jungle type. And I think there was a couple of other ones which we're not able to see yet. So I think this is another variation, just smaller. So these were added in this patch, but still don't have textures. I think these ruined buildings were also added in this patch. Could be wrong about that. And these buildings here. These braziers might be new. This tower chest thing. But that's pretty much all the new units and everything we showed. And obviously if people want to see a lot more detailed look into these things. Oh yeah, here's the owls, all the levels. This is level 3 one, the biggest one. And then there's the Truth of the Talon bird. Also looks very nice. It looks very Raven. So I can see really, really nice recolors coming out of this one. A lot of things that you could do with it. The old one was like literally purple. So this one might be much more nicer to the eyes. My verdict is I really like all of the models outside from the sentry base. And, there's a couple of things one still missing from the Night Elf campaign which have not been added, so there's things missing. Like, yeah, there was one, the Ghost one. The Ghost one is missing some texture still. So this was Scenarios Ghost. I think it might be switched to something else in the campaign to match the lore more. I could be wrong about that. It could be still Scenarios in its young form or something like that. But that's pretty much my rundown of all of these new models that were basically added inside the game. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out my other reviews in terms of the editor guides. And I'll see you soon.